right, everybody. How's everyone doing? Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Collected. Welcome to another Fashion in the Making. Today we're going to be going over a little fabric box. So we'll give a minute to everyone here to kind of like come in and chill and get ready for the show. But yeah, everyone. Hope you had a good week. Hope your Thursday's going well. Get some water there, you know. A lot of talking ahead. But yeah, guys, I am glad that everyone is here. Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing? Hopefully overseas or in the United States, wherever you are. Hope you had a really good week. You know, today's Thursday, so we're just kind of finishing up the week here. And for some parts of the world, it's already Friday, right? So, today, what we are going to be doing, I've been a busy little boy this week, like all weeks. I've always been a little busy. And so what I did this week is make little fabric boxes. So these have no cardboard, nothing like that in them. Maybe in the future I will look into doing some with like cardboard and things in them. But for now, this is like a little, take a penny, leave a penny type tray that I developed. And I thought it looked really good. In fact, I'm going to give one of these to my brother, hopefully for his dispensary. To when that comes out, it'll have like a little take a penny, leave a penny for his little company. And so that's kind of the idea I started with. Was if you look at the previous weeks, we've been doing ones that have shape to them, a lot of roundness and all of this, and very pointy, right? And so while this is very practical for, say, what's this thing? Saying, put my speaker, for instance, in. So that's really cool, and I can easily grab it and, anything like that, very easy to do. However, not everything in the world fits or, is necessarily going to be put into this. So I made a nice flat one. This is 1 inch high. This is 2 inches high. So you can see there, that's 2 inches. That's 1 inch. And the size is similar in size, but they are a little different. You can see one's about an inch shorter than the other one. And I did this by basically just taking a few scraps that I had laying around. And today we're going to go over how you make it, because if you look, this is very vertical, whereas this, it's kind of bowing out, right? Yeah, exactly. You can put your keys in it. You can put whatever you want in it. Very practical. If you ever go to like a Target or any Walmart, anything like that, you'll see a ton of small acrylic or plastic boxes. And so, I had talked to some people recently, and they were like, that's cool, but I don't like, some people didn't like the pointiness of it all. And so I was like, okay, well, the other version is this. These are, no pointiness at all, 100% flat. And then this is made 2 different ways. So if you look on just the side right there, you can actually see I've sewn just a little bit of it down. And I did that on all 4 corners. You can see that there. And so what that did is it actually kind of built the walls up. And, you could definitely use it for organizing. I could make, say, like a smaller one that fit inside, like sideways, for instance. So you could have 2 in there or something, or like this kind of style where one fits inside of the other. And then, if you could take that out and use that and then have this bigger tray, right? That was kind of the idea there. I wanted to show that you could do vertical walls. Now, this one, it's a little smaller. And so I kind of did it just that way, where a little bit of like basically just pinched it and sewed it. And then there you go. Now you got a nice little vertical wall to it. This is the other style. And what I've done here is actually pinch the side itself. So as you can see, I've pinched it and sewn the sides. And so that has created this nice, tight bloop, bloop on the sides there. And then I actually also on these ones, I have sewn along the bottom of the box and along the top. So you have nice, like, firmer walls. The walls of this one, like, some of these ones they can kind of collapse, no problem. Whereas this one, it's like it's resisting me more, you see? Like, see, it's like even when it's collapsing, it's like trying not to collapse because it's much better. And I could even pinch these in and do it just like I did the other one, and it'd be even firmer, you see? If you really need it to be tight. And that's the thing about fabric, right? It's as three-dimensional as you need it to be. If you want it real flexible, then you can do that. If you need it real tight, you can do that too. And so we're going to make one today. This is a small one that kind of fit inside of that one. And of course, then I have to make another one, right? Now, even bigger one. And the idea was kind of like that one could be there, and then this one could be here. And you can kind of have like both of them. But is this okay? That said, I was watching an iPad 4, but is that yeah, do whatever you want. I don't really understand what you mean, but yeah, go for it. Hey, we're not here to judge. So you watch however you want. But yeah, so that was what we're going to be doing today. Our fabric is this nice gold fabric. You could see it in there. It's very, very shiny. And it is a dark denim. This is a legacy fabric for me when I was getting my fashion design degree. Yeah, when I was getting my fashion design degree, this fabric I used to make a pair of pants. But I didn't really know what I was doing, so I bought like 10 yards of fabric of all the fabrics. And you only need like 3 to make a pair of pants. So I have tons. I have, 7 yards or so more. And so a little scrap piece that I had, just cut it, boom, interface the back for you guys already, so we don't have to waste our time there. And then my new favorite fabric, these hoes ain't loyal. And again, already interfaced that. And then now I can show you the little trick that I do, because it is different how you cut and sew these versus this one. Now, last week we showed you this, and all you're going to do is you basically fold something and you make a dart into it. So this is done by 4 darts, 1 on each of the 4 corners. This has no darts in it. If you want to make a pure vertical box, you actually do a different trick. And here is the trick. So this is a ruler. This is a very awesome ruler. If you've never seen a ruler like this, one side has a 0 in the middle and goes all the way to 7 on each side. And then from here up goes to 14. All right, 7 and 7 is 14. All right, so it's the same thing, and then itself is 2 inches. So why would you need an iPad for? I don't know what that is, but okay. Anyways, as I was saying, you can then take, like, I love this one because it's already 2 by 2. And so what you do is, let me get I have my orange one right here. Here. So what you're going to do is take your ruler. Now, before we start that, a good thing with these is you can basically see, like, say I've made the walls this high, then that's how high it's going to be, right? But it could only be this vertical. And so if you go like this and you're like that, you're like, okay, that's what 1 inch is going to look like. It's going to be this tall by this tall, all right? That's 1 inch. If you did a 2-inch one, 2 by 2. So you've taken 2 inches off the sides, 2 inches off the sides, and you have this kind of thing. It's hard to show without actually cutting it, but I'll kind of give you an example done in here. And so what I'm going to do is mark a little corner off like that, and let's see if we can actually see it there. Yeah, you see that line. I've now made that little corner. And so what we're going to do is do that for all 4 corners and then actually cut that fabric away. We're not going to keep that fabric. And let's see, do I want to do 1 inch or 2 inches on this? So that's going to be 2 inches. And see, if you're curious about like, okay, what is that going to look like, then you can always draw it as well. And so now we know it's going to be this narrow by that. And so it's like, okay. And see, essentially what you're doing, folding, folding, boom. All right, let's see. And so that's what it's going to look like when it's done. Again, hard to show it in like person, but that's essentially, see, we've taken this flat object, and by clipping the corners, we can make a 3D object. You see that? Oop. And see, that's going to be 2 inches by 2 inches. And what I did is I took this line and this line and just had them meet each other. And so the problem with that, of course, is you're only going to have, you can kind of measure it there, you're only going to have 2 inches down this whole tube. And we could do that, good long, narrow for like, say, remote controls. If you wanted all your remote controls in one little section, you could do that, right? So 1 by 1 by 1 is going to be closer to this and give you about 3 inches in there. And so that's going to be better, I think, but I think we already did some really like rectangular. See, these are like perfectly kind of rectangular. So I think we'll do the 2 by 2 today. Why not, right? That way I can kind of show you what the extremes look like, and then you can kind of dream up for yourself how you could do something with it. And so, again, because I have this special ruler that is already 2 inches by 2 inches, real easy for me to just draw all my sections. So now I have, so you can see that in the corner there, now I have all of this drawn. Put one piece on top of the other, and then, you know, it's never a bad idea to just throw a pin or two in there, and that way it'll keep them together. See, this is why we check. Actually, let's do it this way. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's get these lined up. Make sure they're all nice and lined up. Because fabric is, you know, it can go squirrely on you real fast, for sure. And then, you know, at this point, you always definitely want to constantly be checking for how square everything is. Sometimes things end up a little less square than you had hoped, which does happen. And so, boom, there we go. Now this is, you can kind of see it there. Now it's one piece, right? You don't see the back piece on the front piece anymore. See? And so now that I've done that, I can take my scissors and cut. So we're actually going to cut these 2 inches right on out. And if that little corner, you know, sometimes I try to be careful and I don't go over, and that's all right. Boop. And see, now you're going to end up with that T shape. Like, see, it's like kind of a reverse T. If you stopped right there, right, it would be a T, or if I guess this way, it'd be a T. Do it on the other side too. And I would recommend don't go this way, like piece to piece. Actually go to where you cut and start from there. And that way you'll never have to worry about that first thing that I did where like it was dangling and it's still, see, watch. If you kind of go this way and then this way, you can kind of like end up, see, like end up loose. And it's like, oh, I didn't cut it right. Whereas if you do it the other way, you start from this side and then cut. That way you know you're going to get it. You don't have that little annoying little piece. If you remember this from last week, it's now my trash bin. So any little pieces and stuff like that, I could throw in here and then figure out if I want to do something with it later. which for now I don't really know what I'm going to do with it, but I'm kind of just keeping them anyways, because I figured I might end up, I want to get a cover stitch eventually. That would be great, and then I could cover stitch these things together. But otherwise, I'm thinking I might just serge them, keep going, serge it, and make almost like a checkered board out of it, because they do make little perfect little squares there, right? Because it is 2x2. So we have now, our piece, same piece. All right. Very, very cool. And so next step, what we're going to do, take each individual piece, take those two corners, so that was one side and the other side of what we just cut, and fold it together just like that. And then you're going to sew this. And then if you do it 4 times, you actually will equal this guy right here. You can see here, there's a little serge, and all I did is take these 2 pieces, fold them together, and then you're going to take those 2 and fold them together as well. And there you go. All right. So we're going to go do that. Let me switch my cameras over. Now, if you look at the other pieces, I did serge those ones, but I decided today that for this demo, that I was not going to serge these ones. Because I wanted to show you that it could be done without a serger. Because, I like a serger, and I probably might end up going back and I'm probably going to serge these before I actually finish the piece off. But I did want to show that you can do this at home without a serger. And, if you are lucky enough like me to have a serger, then I definitely recommend it. It is something that I personally would recommend. Any home sewer, it is like one of the basic machines that's really good to have. I'm just doing this at a what would be considered like 1/4 of an inch. So not any huge workout, any mood, by any means, right? That's not very big. Peloton Tread is all about. From interval runs that motivate you to go the extra mile, power walks that work up a sweat, rolling hill hikes for you to enjoy, and full body boot camps to hit your goals. I had it. I had myself programmed in that I don't have ads, but whoops. Classes, yoga, must have somehow signed me out of my account. You need on and off. So sorry about that. Experience it all for yourself. I'll make sure that's fixed next time. Learn more at I don't know why. Because I have YouTube Premium, so I shouldn't have ads. So yeah, all I'm doing is taking these 2 pieces, these 2 corners, putting them together and sewing them. It's one of those things is boxes are surprisingly easy to make. It's one of those things is you might think, oh, that looks tough or something like that, and it's actually not. It's actually very easy to do. So again, taking these 2 corners, putting them together, and then sewing it down. And that's it, really. Like, there's not a ton to a box. Boxes are pretty easy. The hard thing about a box is, trying to figure out the size and shape that you want, because once you cut it, you've cut it, right? So this one's going to be long and thin, see? And you see what's happened now, right? It's made a 3D object. So let's switch back over to camera 1. Okay, so as you can see, what has happened is we have made a 3D object. Right? We have taken something that is 2D and made it into 3D. And what has gone on there is you can see also it's still bowing out. You see that? And so that's why I was eventually like pinching in, because that will give you that nice tightness. If you don't want it tight, you don't have to do that. Isn't that cool? So that's how you make a box. And then, if you want it lined, like what this is, all you got to do is make 2 boxes, and put one box inside of another. Once you do that, you then get this guy. So as I said, I'm going to end up serging all these off. So we're not going to actually finish making that box today. We're going to switch over to this guy. And what happens is when he's done, he will be this guy. He's been sitting there the whole time in the corner. You didn't even see him, right? But that's the box that this box is. These are the exact same thing. I made two of them at one time. That way I could show you this is the outside, this is the inside. All right? Isn't that cool? So these are the same things, just all finished. So that one's done and finished. Well, I haven't done the top stitching on it yet, but it is essentially done. I mean, I don't have to do top stitching necessarily on it. And then this is what it started as. So you have your two boxes, all right? So you got one box and your other box. And then I pinned it together, and now we're going to go sew it. And then once I pull it through, it will look just like this. And so let's go do that. But I did want to show you guys, this box will be, probably available next week. I'll finish serging it off and get that all done, and then that will be ready too. And again, who knows what that's really going to be used for, right? But I wanted to show you guys that, your possibilities are endless in fabric. You can make something that, seems very practical. This is very practical, right? Simple size. It is 6 inches by 4 inches, right? And an inch tall. So, a very practical thing. You can put, here's a remote control, for instance. That's a remote for my fan. See? Boop, boop. All right, so that's what that does. And there you go. Now I have a cute little novelty way to store that. See what I'm saying? And it took me, 15 minutes to an hour, depending on if cutting it out, deciding on the fabric. So let's say an hour. And you guys have a nice box, right? Yeah, you can put them in a utensil drawer. You can put them on your cabinets, in your storage, whatever you want. You can put all your pennies in this one and all your nickels in this one, right? It's like, that's the thing about it, is it's truly endless. You just tell me what size you need, what height you need, right? Both dimensions, the height, and I can make the box for you. You can make it, or I can make it for you. I mean, I'm very happy to do that. But, also I want to show people that you can do it yourself. So let's go sew this little box up. Whee! I'm liking that I'm doing these entire things in my chairs now. I'm not standing up because I've been standing up a lot all day, so it is nice. I do try to get these two corners to meet. So, don't do like that, all right? Like way off. Like try to get these two corners to meet. And if they're both the same size, there should be no problem with it. You can, if you want, also serge this entire top. And maybe one day I'll do that as well. I'll serge the whole top off and then show you guys like, yeah, you could do that too. But remember, we will leave a hole in this. We do not serge 100% of it. You sew like 80% of it. And I am just continually going. So I'm kind of getting to a corner. I often like to backstitch, and then I'll pick it up and move it so that's flat again. And then we are on our last little leg here. So I'll only go about 60% and then stop, leaving like a 2-inch gap. In fact, I even put a photo on the internet yesterday like this, where it was just like, that's a good way to tell if you've gone, good distance there. It's kind of just like throw your scissors in there. If it's too small for even like, your scissor handle or anything like that going, your hand's never going to fit, right? So now we have this little opening. So let's go turn it out. Oh yeah, you can do whatever you want with these things. That's the nice thing about fabric. Also, all machine washable. So, plastic and stuff, you end up having to clean with harsh chemicals and everything like that. Whereas this, you can just throw it in the dishwasher. I mean, not dishwasher, but the laundry machine. The washing machine. Couldn't think of the word properly for a second. These ones are a bit tougher to pull through, I have found, because they are so structured, and I interfaced them real well. So I probably should have done a bigger hole. I forgot last time I should have done a bigger hole for this one, but that's all right. We'll still get it through. Nice thing about, of course, surging it is that you can freaking manhandle the heck out of it and not even have to worry about it. And it's all interface, so I definitely don't have to worry about nothing. Let's get this guy out of here. I kind of usually like twist it, if you notice, with my hands, and then pull both hands in opposite directions. So the new chunk that's coming out, you pull with one hand, and then the other hand, you just kind of twist it and pull the white away. And then eventually, you see no more white. Done, right? All good. Then I like to pop my little corners out by put my fingers inside there and pop these little corners out. And you kind of see now you have two boxes, right? You put one box into the other box. And so now you have a box with lining. And see, it has created the same box. Because, I use the same fabric and same pattern and everything like that. It will make the same box. Which is nice, right? It's very repeatable. So if you need 6 of these, I can make 6 of them, put them all there, and there you go. Now you have, one for your speaker, one for your thing, one for, say, your drink or something. You know what I mean? Whatever you need. Your life, your choices there. But ultimately, there you go, right? And then I've shown you this a few times before, but what you're going to do is get these two even. So you have one fabric and the other, and you're just kind of squishing it in your hand, back and forth, back and forth. And a lot of times I'm poking, trying to get that corner nice and poke, get that corner nice and tight, and just kind of like worming my fingers in there. Like, all right. And then you can even, that one's like a sharp one. Let's get a dull one. Here you go. Even like a dull scissors would work. Don't use too sharp of a scissor. Or you can also use, this is an eraser is what it is. So like you can go out and have it erase. And you can use that to poke, right? Because it's not sharp. You don't want to use this has like a hook to it. You see that? So it's like that will go right on through it. You don't want that. Because it is just fabric still. So yeah. And then you do have a hole, so you will need to top stitch it. All my stuff does need to be top stitched. And again, I'm just kind of rolling it back and forth, so I've gotten it settled down. And you can tell when you're done because it looks like a box. You know what I mean? It's kind of self-explanatory, right? It's like it's done when it looks like it's done. Yeah. And then if you do get any stragglers, see like just a loose piece of thread there, don't pull it. That's bad for fabric. It will cause runs in it. Just cut it. It's so much better just to cut it than it ever will be to rip it. Because ripping it will guaranteed mess your stuff up. Trust me, there's nothing worse than finishing a piece and then looking and pulling and then like now a line pulls and you're like, it literally is like so demoralizing. You're like, no, this is done. In fact, that's how like this kind of piece got, right? So I figured out there was like a problem with it when I had already finished it. And I was like, well, that's mine now. It's like, I can't sell that. That's mine now. So yeah, now we got a little box with shapes and sides, all right? We started with a flat piece, bloop, flat piece. We then cut 4 perfect little cubes out of the sides of it. We then sewed them together, creating a box. sewed the two boxes together, pulled it through. Now you have a nice box. Then you top stitch it, and you get this little guy. And you can even bottom stitch it too. So yeah, I have little other stitching to help reinforce it, get the sides better. But yeah, see, not that bad, right? It really was not that hard of a project, and you can end up creating an endless amount of crazy things, including, I made a little silly one for us today. Bloop. This is using the same techniques that we used last week, making darts. I've actually been able to make this shape. So this one is, I call it a scrap catcher. And so the idea is it could sit on your table like that, and you can just throw your scraps in there when you're, you're getting ready, right? You just throw all your scraps in there, and then when you're done, it's up. You're done. All right, you can grab it by its handle and then take it to a trash can and dump it out. Boom, 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 dumped out, all empty or ready to go for another one. And it stays at like this kind of 45-degree angle. And then you can do it either way too, that way or that way. See, just having fun. Sometimes, it's not all but it's about my work and stuff, it's also about fun, right? So this is the one we made last week, see, was this one. And I thought it was like, I needed it. It was like, not wide enough because it wasn't a perfect square. Whereas this one was a perfect square. And I did the same technique to it and got this fun little shape and size, isn't it? Isn't that awesome? And all I did was, if you look, these ones are 2 inches. These ones are 3 inches. And so it made the base into a point. And that's all I did. The same thing, same technique that makes this guy. These are the exact same pieces of fabric. I promise you, these are the identical pieces of fabric, which is this piece right here. It's this little square that I have. It's the exact same pieces, all just cut differently. So this is 1 by 2. Oh, sorry, 1 by 3 over and over again. So perfectly done. Whereas this one, I did 2 different darts 2 different ways and got this uneven shape. Because it's fabric. You have fun with it, you know what I mean? And this makes a little grabber. So you can grab it, throw your trash away, boom, you're done. And then now it's sitting back, And I like how it's kind of like, because I put the interfacing in it, so it's kind of bouncy. But yeah. And if it was too bouncy for you, you could always take like a weight or something. See, little weights in there now. Boop. If you really wanted it that way. You know what I mean? It's up to you. And you could even sew this kind of weight in there if you really need it, if you needed it to be something. Looks like a frog. It does look like a frog's mouth. It doesn't it? There's a old anime called Naruto, and he had a frog purse, and it was like a little frog mouth that he had all his money in, and that's actually what kind of gave me the inspiration for it, because I wanted a little frog mouth. So that is actually, I'm glad you said that. That is actually the inspiration from it, because I have a clamshell purse enclosure. Because at one point I was gonna make purses. I was like, ooh, I'm gonna make purses, and I bought a bunch of supplies and made a few. And I had some clamshell ones. And so this one, I thought about that. I was like, I could put, it's one of those ones that's 2 pieces of metal that are like kind of hooked on each other. And then you snap it open or snap it closed. So it's that kind of style. But I was like, I don't want to actually put that on there. I was like, I'll just leave it this way. And I realized perfect for scraps. So now it just sits on the corner. And if I have any kind of scrap or anything, I can just toss it in there. Boom, 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 done. So that's what I wanted to show you first today, was making the little boxes. You started at, the beginning, middle, close to the end, fully the end, right? So I wanted to show you all the steps that I go through on a day-to-day basis. And in fact, I do even use my own products. So this is a sample that I made of this that I'm now using as a pencil holder. See, little pencil holder, and then that's actually an X-Acto knife. That's like a little Sharpie, Here's actually my chopstick that I use all the time. So boom. And I've noticed that this one, I probably will make another one that's 3 inches tall, or maybe even 4 inches tall. So that way they kind of go like that. Instead of, because like this, it's kind of, so you can kind of, it's tipping. So that's the thing, right? We're always trying to improve our designs. So this one, not the greatest for that, but could be great for, say, pattern weights. All right, because that not going to tip over, right? And just small enough for me to get my little hands in and not have to worry about nothing, right? Or if you're like me and you have like, this is literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different, there's the orange one there, but you know, a bunch of these ones, I can throw that in there and have them ready to go. So that's kind of what I have them for, is that, you know, in sewing, there's a ton of small stuff. Or like, for instance, needles. If you have children around, suddenly, you know, much safer to have this fabric than to have a pin full of needles, right? That's going to be very sharp for, say, children, something like that. So it can help childproof things. You know, just putting things away can be very helpful for children. You know, they out of sight, out of mind, right? And so, you know, practical things or child safety things, or just looking cool, right? It just kind of looks neat. You can throw your keys in there, whatever you want, right? Or this one's like perfect for a remote control. That's Dad's remote control. You don't touch, if it's in the box, you don't touch it, right? You can make your own family rules. This is Dad's box. So, you know, I know Christmas is around the corner. So if you guys are thinking about, I know some people are like, oh, I don't know what to do, but you know, the cute novelty gift like this could be awesome, right? And so there was another thing that I wanted to show today. Not just one thing, but I did want to show two, because this one I knew, I was like, oh, we've kind of done that a few times. You know, it's getting a little old, right? Old hats. But I had mentioned that I'm getting really into rugs. And in fact, Tuesday, I made this guy. Well, he's not 100% done. See, I have put a back on him. So he is basically done. However, I got this really cool thing in the other day. Are y'all ready for this? This is a professional shaver for rugs. Very, not too loud, right? You know, not very loud at all, right? And so what we are going to do, I'm going to stand for this one just for safety's sake. But what we're going to do is kind of just, you know, I want to show you what I do now. So the next step in rug making is shaving. And so with a firm press and at a not totally angle, but you know, you want to kind of get it a little bit angled. And see, now you shave them down and it will give you a much better look to the overall thing, and also level the entire art so that it's much easier to read. And so this is what I'm doing. Yeah, not too loud, right? I was kind of shocked by that when I turned it on today. I was like, oh, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this on stream. It's going to be so loud. But it's actually pretty freaking quiet. I do got to get in there a little more. My angle is not always good. There we go. Because again, I just got this. Yeah, literally today was my first day ever using it. It came in the mail yesterday. And, you know, part of my channel is the constant improvement of me as well, right? And so I wanted to go, you know, show everyone today. It's like, you know, I don't start out as an expert on anything, okay? Now, I don't want anyone coming here being like, oh, this guy is going to be perfect. It's like, no, I'm still learning just like you guys are, right? And I may know how to do certain things, but I'm no expert in everything in the world. And so this is a new hobby and hopefully something that I can eventually make some good money on. Rug making. And so, you know, I'm just kind of going over it, shaving it, over and over, getting all so it looks nice and even. And at this point, I think it looks pretty even to me, so I'm going to do a few, faster passes like this to kind of just make sure it is 100% even. And then we'll kind of look at the result here. And then we'll compare it to another one that I have not shaved. And you can kind of see, you'll be able to see what the difference is there. All right. Now this next part I will mute myself for because I'm going to vacuum. But I don't want you guys to, blow out your speakers there. Okay, I'm back. So, actually I want to trim up just this little corner here. Get all them sides done too. Which I think is the best way. I'm not actually quite sure. One second. Okay, so let's compare these two. Okay, so first of all, let's look at this one. Now, if you look, you can see how much darker it is and how much actually kind of like more legible it's gotten. It looks really good, right? And it feels so much softer. It definitely feels a ton softer, and I feel more legible, right? Even from like a far distance, right? You can really see his face a lot more. And then look at this one, right? You can see here, you can still see all them loops. See, you see what I'm saying? Like you can see each individual loop there. You see that? Whereas here, you can no longer see loops, but instead you see carpet, right? It kind of this more looks like my carpet, and this looks, like kind of, you can see the individual ones. And so, again, we'll just take that. And then if you do want a particular height, one of the cool things that it actually came with, because here, I'll show you this. It came with this cute little box. Unfortunately, it did have this crack in it. I don't know if that shows up on camera, but right here, there was a crack in the box. So it came to me slightly broken. So I was disappointed by that, but that's all right. It came with one extra blade, and just like you would have for, your beard, trimmers. So this sets it. So that's 9 mil and 12 millimeter. This one is 6 and 3. So literally, you can clip this, clip it on like that, and there you go. Now it will only do, to that height, right? Now, granted, these ones, I don't need that for. That would be for big rugs that are like shag rugs, something like that, right? Where you've done, you got it really, really big and thick. And so you need that. Whereas I don't necessarily need that because I am actually kind of shave it down. All right, you can see the kind of the gradual mess that it makes as well. All right. Let me vacuum it real fast. All right. So now I'll give you even better, like, practical example of how this works. So you can literally see here, see how light, like, you see how dark in color this side and how light in color that is. You see what I'm saying? Look how, like, this is thick. Like, here. This side, really thick, or I haven't shaved it yet. You can kind of see even when I... See, this looks so much flat. You know how flat that is, right? Whereas this one, you can see the individual one still. Isn't that cool? So that is, you know, what I bought. It was $100 for this guy because he is, you know, in an industrial product. And as you can tell, it will, you know, tear through this stuff no problem, right? So let's get this other side done, and then we can get out of here for today, huh? And yes, I do think it's actually quite fun. I've been having, I played with, you know, the ones that I had already done. I shaved them earlier, and I've been having a blast shaving all my stuff. And of course, I am just learning how to use this, so if you do have any tips, put them in the comments below. I'm going to watch some tutorials and make sure I'm doing a good job myself, you know? But it's given me the look that I want, which is what they call cut pile. So there are two different types of rugs, loop pile and cut pile. When you do punch needling work, you're creating loop pile. And what that means is you're making a loop and then a loop and a loop, right? Whereas this is cutting them all off. And so now each individual strand is by itself. There's no more loop. See, it's not two pieces connected to itself anymore. It's two individual pieces. And so, you know, this is what I'm busy at my house doing when everyone else is doing their own stuff, whether you're on vacation or retired or, you know, got a desk job, whatever it is that you got. This is what I've got. I got my little cutter, and I love my little cutter, and I actually really enjoy it. There's a certain zenness to shaving something. Now I know what why people become barbers. There definitely is a joy to it. And then also you notice that I did put a rug or a piece of fabric down. I highly recommend that. Because as you can see, it constantly creates a mess. Alright, let's see. I think we're in the final stages here. All right, let me vacuum it. All right, look at that. And so you can see, you don't really see a lot of individual, you see a lot of individual ones. You don't see loops anymore. You see what I'm saying? It's cut all my loops. And this doesn't look a little more readable than it used to be. It used to be a little, a little like, what is it, all cubes or what is it? Now you can very clearly see the colors. That little stuff. Cool. So that's what this machine, it works, a little button there. And then what's cool about it as well, I'll unplug it so I can actually show it to you. This is how it, that's the plug to go in, right? Look at this. This is the power control for it. So right now it says off, then it says on minimum, and then all the way to maximum. So you see that? And so as I turn this, that's how you make it go faster or slower. So this would be like half speed, and then so you can make all the way to max, and then all the way to min. And that's actually built into its power. Isn't that cool? It's actually built into, because what it's doing is it's actually delivering more or less voltage. And you can kind of hear, see, there's like a little machine and little click. So that's actually like, clicking it on and off. And so that's how, you have a on off, a start stop button, but that's essentially your power and your speed control. Because this is an industrial device, it doesn't necessarily have the same safety standards or same practices as a non-industrial piece. And so that's what I wanted to show you guys today. It is, definitely doable if you want to get into this hobby. I mean, I've talked about it in the previous one with Umpty last time that, you're talking a $500 hobby just to get into it. But once you do it, you can start making really good art and really, if you want, like this fabric didn't cost me much, right? You can get in for like $10 if you want, and then keep going up, right? The point is we stay improving, right? We don't need to, there are more of these. There is more little clips and things I can buy for it. I didn't buy it yet. You don't need to go all out every single time, right? I bought this piece, then bought this piece, then bought, you know what I mean? You keep going, keep spreading things out. And so even previous ones that I already sewn, see, now is a fully done coaster, ready to coast stuff. See, little coaster. You know what I mean? And that's what these are. These, I've made them as little coasters. And so even this guy can be a coaster now. Now that I've shaved him down, let's see if I can get it in there. But it's like, see, you can see it's not very thick anymore. Whereas when I first had him, see, here's one. We do like a kind of a side-by-side comparison there. You can see, I don't know if it's gonna be hard to see. I don't know if I can get it just about even there. Let's see, we got it even. Yeah, we can see this one is thicker than this one. All right. And then there's even another one that goes in vertically. So that way I could get all my lines done, right? So it's like, and you can do it that way too, and actually called carving. And you could start carving them. Or if I wanted his head a little bit better, you could carve that. And so that's another step. We'll deal with that another day. I just learned how to, use it. So I'm not no master of it yet. But hey, that's the point, right? We're here to learn. I can, teach you the things that I know, and then we can learn the things together that we don't know. All right, cool. See you later, Shirley. Bye. We're about to wrap up here anyways. We're like about 2 minutes, 3 minutes away from wrapping up. All good anyways. But all right, guys. That was kind of it anyways. She left. She's like one of those people, and when the like the ninth inning, is in a baseball game. She's like, all right, time to go. We know who's going to win here. You know what I mean? She's trying to beat the rush. Hey, it's virtual. You're already at your house. I know, I'm just kidding with you. I'm sure it's dinner time on her coast. It's dinner time, right? So I get that. In fact, next year I am considering moving this to like either noon or 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, something like that. You know, because I mean, I'm here all day now. I originally made this because I wanted to do it after my work. Well, this is my work now, so I can do it any time of day. Or I might be thinking of doing like a gaming stream for like 1 or 2 hours, then do this for like an hour. We'll see in the future. You know, tell me in the comments what you're thinking, and we'll definitely make it happen. I even shaved this one down today. I've shaved all of them. And so I will, of course, you know, have to go back. So you can see you do create a lot of mess. You can see that? You know what I mean? I filled it up. Just one thing, right? Almost completely filled it up. So, you know, you are getting a lot of stuff out of it. And I've reduced it down by like half in size. So that's really good. Now it's fully functional. I mean, ready to go, right? Isn't that cool? So yeah, guys, that's what I wanted to show everyone today. You know, we are in the end of October here. So make sure to start thinking. I mean, I've already been thinking about it, but make sure to think about your Christmas presents. You know, shopping small and independent artists always helps both you and the artist. You get something unique that, you know, hey, this guy likes skulls and I don't know what to buy him. Well, you can reach out to me and we can make you that dream piece, whether it's something silly that you're like, I don't even know, this is so goofy, or something very practical. All right, however you need it to be, I can make it for you. And if not, I can teach you how to make it yourself too, if that's what you prefer. Some people, you know, they prefer the joy of making things, and sometimes it's just about the convenience of, hey, this is up. And in fact, cool little thing, as I've been saying, I do want to release products every single week now. And these two products right here in front of you are currently for sale. Both of these products are currently listed on Mercari, which is a selling app. And so both of these are listed. They're both listed for like about $15 each, and the price will kind of keep going down until they sell, and I can kind of find what the reasonable price that people expect to pay is. But I just want to say that, you know, every week I am trying to list products. Next week, I will be focusing on trying to get my website up and running, fully running. I'll do like a test of that about 2 Tuesdays from now. Will be like, I'll show you guys the website. And I'll list things on there too. But I still want to list things on Mercari every once in a while, just kind of get eyes on it and see what happens, you know? See if maybe that becomes a selling place for me, maybe it doesn't. But I do have both of these currently listed on that website for about $15 each. And if you do end up seeing it and liking it and you're like, hey, I want it, hit me up and I can give you even better price on it, right? It's like, you know, the Mercari is kind of just like to see who in the world will look at it, right? But, you know, we'll see if one of my true fans want something, I'll give you a real good price on it. All right, guys. Well, I think that's about it. About wraps it up for me. You know, stay improving out there, stay going and keeping your dreams alive, all right? I love you guys. I want you to trust in yourself, honor yourself and others, and create a world safer for everyone. Because at the end of the day, that's what we want. That's what's going to make us all better and happier. You know, as we develop our hobbies, as we develop our careers, we're just going to keep striving to do our best together. Okay, guys? I hope my instructions were clear. If you do have any tips, put them in my DMs or comments, and I'll love to listen to them. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, hit me up. I will absolutely. I am Chris_collected on Instagram. Or if you see there, linktr.ee/Chris_collected or Linktree Chris_collected is my Linktree. And so hit me up there too. However you need, you know what I mean? We'll find a way for you to contact me if you need to. I'm here for you guys, okay? I'll help you with your projects, and you can help me with mine. All right, guys. If you think of a different box or anything else you want to see next week, tell me. Otherwise, it's going to be a little bit of a surprise what next week is because I haven't decided myself yet. But anyways, guys, I had a lot of fun. I hope you had a lot of fun. I hope your weekend is wonderful, whether you're retired and sitting on a beach somewheres or you're sitting at your house and wherever you are. Thank you so much. Okay? Have a great day. You deserve it. Everyone deserves it. Right? All right, guys. enough of me waxing poetic. Bye. I had a ton of fun with all of you, and thank you so much for commenting. I really appreciate it. See you later.